What is business storytelling? You kind of asked. I'll answer you this question and start with it's defo not about telling insignificant tales. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been so very deep in your own zone that you forget what others actually hear when you talk? The other week, I was chatting with someone just a tiny bit because it's my summer vacation still. I was chatting with someone on LinkedIn, and this person was complimenting one of my posts about business storytelling. But in their reply, they said something like, "Thanks for reminding me to share more tales from our people." Tales. I mean, that word hit me like an espresso shot. They think I'm talking about story time, like bedtime stories, like make-believe. No wonder so many professionals brush storytelling off as fluff. It's no surprise people don't take business storytelling seriously as a leadership, communication, and branding tool. Welcome back to Story Driven Business Podcast. I'm your host, Susanna Rantanen, known as the world's leading modern employer branding expert and author of my new book, Story Driven Employer Branding. And this podcast has been retargeted for growth or growth-minded B2B founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and other business leaders from HR to communications to marketing to sales who aspire to create better results, work in purpose-driven environment, and enjoy the fruits of their professional success in their personal lives. So today I want to reset the record and rewire your understanding, providing you clear answer to what is business storytelling. Because when I talk about what is business storytelling, I am not talking about tales, not about make-believe. I'm talking about very powerful messaging formula that helps you win sustainable attention, win minds before you win their actions. So let's start by answering, what is business storytelling? I want to define the problem first because in storytelling, you always start with the problem. Now, this is the problem that we all share in the business world. There's a lot of noise in the business world. Leaders and employees are equally overwhelmed. Customers and job seekers are more and more skeptical, and talent is scrolling past your recruitment posts like they're spam. The problem is this constant noise means that the old communication methods, the ones that we are so used to, such as one-way communication and campaigns, do not seem to work very well anymore. Why is this? It's because we've entered a new era of attention and trust. This is the information era, as I define in my book, Story Driven Employer Branding. There's a little advert there about matching minds with mission through business storytelling. In the information era that is now on steroids, with AI now also in the picture, facts alone no longer move people. Logic doesn't create that change that is required. And oh boy, are we requested and expected to change just all the time. And not just humans, but our businesses are on a constant transition as the world around us moves so rapidly. Those who were already in the business life immediately after the financial crisis, nearly 20 years ago, can recognize this pattern. Yet again, we have no idea what the business world or world as such looks like next year, the year after, or in 5 years. We are requested to adapt to whatever comes on our way. And that is so very consuming on all of us. Change is permanent, it seems, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you can embrace the opportunities change brings along and become the guide to your customers and employees who want to be led on this journey. So when we understand that as humans are biologically wired to seek safety and predictability, change, especially in work environments, can feel like a threat to our sense of control, competence, and belonging. And in business life, this manifests as attachment to routines and the way we always have done things, fear or failure of being exposed as inadequate in the new system, skepticism about leadership's motives. What is the real reason we're doing this? Emotional fatigue from constant transformation and buzzwordy initiatives. Even the most ambitious professionals can resist change, not because they're lazy or cynical, but because change means uncertainty, and uncertainty means risk. As a leader, you are in a position that calls for risk busting, and business storytelling is probably the best tool for that, especially when you apply the over 2,500-year-old scientifically proven story formula. Actually, whatever role and responsibility you have, think about the people who you need to convince on a daily basis. They can be existing customers, prospects, job seekers, your team member, investors, leadership team, you name it. You can probably immediately recognize challenges that you have had in convincing them with something that you see important, whatever topic is, idea or task or goal or need or request that your immediate stakeholders are afraid to commit to or accept. Just like that. That change requires extra energy, and we're just not sure if that's worth the risk and worth the input, the extra input. So we want to figure out what helps humans embrace change in business. Emotion, meaning, and story are usually influential in convincing others and converting their minds and actions and attitudes to something that they are otherwise skeptical, fearful, or just not believing in. I'm going to share 5 things that help us human beings, regardless of our roles or age or experience or education or whatever, embrace change in business. So the first one is applying business storytelling to help make change meaningful. Change shouldn't feel like a corporate imposition. It should feel like a hero's journey. When leaders frame change as a mission that connects to purpose, we're doing this to stay relevant or serve better or lead in our industry, your employees are more likely to get on board emotionally because they understand the position. Visible leadership vulnerability. When leaders admit that they're also learning, they're also adjusting and figuring things out, your employees stop seeing the change as some kind of a top-down order and start experiencing it as a shared adventure when we figure it out together. And they can actually contribute to figuring it out. It makes it so much more meaningful for them. This builds psychological safety, and documenting it as content makes it wonderful internal communication and external employer branding and business branding collateral. Number 3 is micro wins that build trust. Instead of reaching the big picture, show small tangible results. Humans trust outcomes over promises. So if you're only talking about the goals and the mission and the big picture, it feels like you're not achieving anything. So you want to communicate and celebrate the milestones because those are tangible, those are understandable. This is what we've achieved. Reminding people of where we are, what we've achieved already, works so much better than a grand overhaul. Number 4, making it feel like progress, not punishment. If people associate change with more workload and confusion and chaos, they'll resist. It's natural. So would you. But if it looks like personal growth, increased mastery, career development opportunity, fewer frustrations in the future, they will lean in. And number 5, internal influencers, not just leaders. So peer-to-peer trust is often stronger than manager-employee trust. Change spreads when respected colleagues start saying, this actually helped me. That is social proof at work, and storytelling is so great at documenting these experiences of individuals' change journeys. Great employer branding content, by the way. And yet, when I talk about business storytelling, what I fear people think I mean is personal anecdotes, fluffy humans of our company blog posts, origin stories, or cringy fake conversations in job ads. But that is not what business storytelling is about. So I want to explain that business storytelling is not a type of content. It's not a video, for example. It's a messaging framework, how you say the thing so that it actually makes sense and therefore sticks. That's where Donald Miller's StoryBrand 7-part framework, SP7, comes in. And I'm going to break it down to you and then show you how I adapted this for leadership and employer branding in my magnetic employer branding method. So this is the SP7. This is by Donald Miller. I loved it. It's so clear. So there's 7 elements that form the story formula. First element is the character. This refers to your audience member. This could be an employee. This could be a candidate. This could be a customer. In internal communication, this would definitely be an employee, most likely. This character has a problem. They're stuck, they're lacking clarity, or afraid of failing, or their personal life demands a change that has turned into a problem requiring solving. So the problem is the element number 2. Element number 3 is the guide. They need a guide. That is you, and that is your company. As a CEO or founder, you are the guide to your management team and staff. As HR, you're the guide to all of your business leaders. As a talent acquisition professional, you are the guide to job seekers and candidates. As the marketing manager, you are the guide to the business leads and salespeople. As salespeople, you are the guide to your customers, and so on. Element number 4 is the plan. Guide gives them a plan. So your process, the plan could be your process, your service, the career path, development plan, a product, values, the culture, whatever plan fits the journey, the storyline. And element number 5 is calling them to action. So the guide gives them a plan and then calls the character to action on it. This could be apply, join, change, commit, believe, try, test, describe. Avoiding failure is the 6th element in a story formula. Failure could be losing time, losing energy, losing status because of failure, even ending burnt out or in a divorce because of the challenges between the personal life and work life. And the element number 7 in the story formula by Donald Miller is success. And this is where the story ends. It ends in success. So this is the desired outcome of the character, of the hero character. This could be belonging, this could be growth, this could be impact on a personal level, hence the better future that I'm talking about. Even if they are your customers and using their employers' money to buy your products or your services, it's still always a personal success that you want to paint them as the success at the end. So this is not fluff. This is timeless persuasion structure used in films world-class speeches. And when applied to your business messaging, it makes your audience say, this is about me. I want in. If you're familiar with my magnetic employee branding method, then you know that my adaptation from this is the talent journey of the information era. This is not a similar story structure because I also use Donald Miller's SB7 as a story formula, but the talent journey of the information era is specifically targeted for the communication for internal, the existing employees and future employees. And that works really well in internal communication, employer brand and recruitment marketing, and leadership communication too. So this journey maps how people go from strangers to fully committed owners of your business idea, of that career idea, whether that's joining your company or following your leadership or choosing your product or your service. By the way, this is explained in my book, but you can see the picture on the video version of this episode and in the show notes at modernemployerbrand.com/podcast204. So here's how it goes. The first is winning sustainable attention. And this is when your target audience feels like, I'm starting to notice this company and your content, and your messages are starting to make me curious about you. So while I'm not yet curious enough to actually put effort into finding more about you at this stage, next time I see your message or your content, I will probably take a look at it. Next step is growing employer or business awareness. This is where your target audience is thinking that I've heard of this company. I recognize their name. I have a little bit of trust in you already. And the more aware they become, the more the ideal audience is able to detect that this company feels really relevant to me. I'm becoming interested now to the extent that I'm actually willing to put some effort in to learn more about you, to consider if you are for me. Then we approach the actual branding phase, which is building brand affinity. This is where trust starts to grow. I believe in what you're trying to tell me. Desire sets in. I want in. I want to be seen as part of this company. I want to belong to this tribe. As a client, as an investor, as an advocate, as a spokesperson, as an influencer, or as your future employee or existing employee. And then it's the conversion phase where people become committed to take action that you have proposed to them. I want to take the next step. They're taking ownership. This is my cause too. I want to advocate it. I want to speak on its behalf. I want the status others attach in me when I publicly connect myself to your company. At every step, the story must evolve. You start as a signal in the noise, then become the voice of your target audience's challenge, and then you position yourself as the guide who helps them to succeed and move along this journey. That's what makes business storytelling strategic communication. So to your question, what is business storytelling? It's like building a staircase for the brain and the heart to climb together. I want to give you a couple of real world examples of business storytelling in practice, how this could work in daily business communication. So we think about internal communication first. So let's say you're rolling out a new values framework in your organization. You could email the bullet points and a slide deck and have people look at it. Or you could tell a story of what those values look like in action, why they are meaningful, featuring a couple of your real employees, specifically the kinds of employees that are looked up to and seen as internal influencers, and framing them as the hero in the challenge, and how your new values, framework, and culture has guided them. In employer branding, let's say that you want to stand out for tech candidates. You could list benefits and ping pong tables, or you could show what impact your developers create through a project story that mirrors your ideal candidate's dreams, professional dreams. Let's say you would be leadership messaging. So let's say you're navigating a tough change, and as a CEO, you want to communicate about it to your team, your staff. You could speak in corporate jargon, or you could tell a story of challenge, your fears, what unity means in this situation, what are your hopes for the future, and invite your people to co-create the next chapter in your organization that takes you through this tough change. This is how we guide our clients through real transformation, not by spinning tales, but by aligning stories to strategy. So the big, bold truth about business story as we approach 2026. Here's the truth most leaders I feel are missing. The better your business storytelling, the less convincing you need to do. Because when you tell the right story, people, it's not about the right story. It's about telling the story the right way. People don't just get it. They actually see themselves in this story. They believe in it. And that is why they want to act on it. Storytelling in business is not fluff. It's more like a fuel. I want you to see it as a bridge between your ideas and your audience's action. It is what convinces your audience, makes them see themselves in this story, and just excites them to take the action that you propose them. In this information-saturated, AI turboed, is that a word? Turboed, meaning-hungry world, I just think that you cannot afford not to use business storytelling. I want to finish this episode with this quote that I've used in my book. The most powerful person in the room isn't the one who talks the most. It's the one whose idea becomes everyone else's. If this episode changed how you think about business storytelling and business communication, share with a colleague or your leadership team. And if you post about it, tag me on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. Keep leading with story. Until next week, yours truly.